In a peaceful future, there's a desire for beautiful flights, without the worry of being killed. Furthermore, the Ukrainian Armed Forces need to transition to modern helicopters. Yevgeny Solovyov, Senior Inspector Pilot of the Flight Safety Service of the Army Aviation of the Ground Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, said this in an interview with Ukrainian Pravda. It's noted that when discussing the transition to the latest weaponry, drones, tanks, and aircraft are often mentioned. However, Army aviation is discussed considerably less, even though Ukrainian pilots continue to operate older Soviet aircraft. Thus, Solovyov believes that switching to helicopters capable of using Western weaponry is necessary. At the same time, he doesn't believe Ukraine should pursue promoted brands like the American Apache, as no single instrument can be a universal weapon of victory and is only effective within a fully-fledged military ecosystem. The Apache is the top-of-the-line, most expensive toy, the best-equipped helicopter in the world. It's like a Bugatti Veyron, classy and expensive, but it needs to be used in a comprehensive manner, he noted. Solovyov speaks very cautiously about the new generation of servicemen who grew up during the Russian-Ukrainian war, since it has not been possible to defeat Sovietism in the army everywhere. As they say, there are few fools in the army, but they are very wisely placed. And people who graduated during the Russian-Ukrainian war are learning from their superiors. There are some leaders who appoint someone to a position not because they're a professional, but because they're convenient. And so it's very difficult to say that this new generation is decisive. Still, they're probably just sprouts, but strong little stems that are growing out of the asphalt, he said. In a peaceful future, Solovyov even connects his personal dream with the sky. Have you seen those videos on social media of people flying Robinsons, a small civilian helicopter, to the supermarket for groceries? I wish I had one of those in my yard that I could fly, because I want beautiful flights where you don't have to worry about being killed, that you have to complete your missions, or that the drone you're chasing is going to crash in a field rather than a populated area. As previously reported, Ruslan Marishev, commander of the 95th Airborne Assault Brigade, noted that there's no point in hoping that ground-based robotic systems and unmanned aerial vehicles will shut everything down on their own, and that we'll just be sitting quietly in a Kyiv coffee shop. He explained that drones require support and maintenance. Specifically for a single robotic system, such as the Termit, to operate, a pilot is needed to control it, a security team, and pilots to fly the transponder. That means approximately 8 military personnel are needed to fly one robot there and back.
As Democrats dig in for a lengthening U.S. government shutdown, former Vice President Kamala Harris is cheering them on as she travels the country touting her presidential campaign memoir amid speculation about another White House run. The Democratic 2024 nominee told the Associated Press in an interview Friday that she remains in contact with Democrats on Capitol Hill, encouraging them to maintain their demands that President Donald Trump and the Republican congressional majority address looming spikes in Affordable Care Act health insurance premiums. The Republicans control the House. They control the Senate. They control the White House. They are in charge, and they are responsible for the shutdown, she said. Democrats, she said, are doing the right thing by standing up for working people and not allowing the Republicans to carry a tax cut for the wealthiest people in our country on the backs of working people in America. It was just one example of Harris using her book tour to urge Democrats to lead a consistent, aggressive resistance to Trump while at the same time recommitting to reaching working and middle-class voters who supported the Republican or stayed home last November. Over the course of the day, Harris sat down for an hour-long conversation with 5 black college students, spoke to the AP and held 2 book discussions in Alabama's largest city. Paid ticket holders filled downtown Birmingham's Alabama Theater, where Harris discussed her campaign, the Democratic Party and the course of the nation with radio host Charlemagne the God. Through it all, Harris projected the aura of party elder and future candidate. She expressed concern for the country's direction and outright incredulity over many of Trump's actions. When VIP ticket holders told her in a photo line how disappointed they had been by her loss, she played it forward. "We've got work to do," she said repeatedly. "Keep fighting." On stage and to the AP, she praised her party's deep and wide bench, and even called for lowering the nation's voting age to 16 to bring more young people into the political process. Harris, 60, maintained she has made no decision about her own political future. But she made clear that running again in 2028 is still on the table and that sees herself as a player in the party and a voice in the national discourse. "I am a leader of the party," she told the AP. "I take seriously that responsibility and duty that I feel as the previous nominee. That includes traveling the country talking and mostly listening with folks," she said, "and getting folks ready to fight in the midterms in 2026. Harris aides confirmed she will help Democratic gubernatorial candidates Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey and Abigail Spanberger in Virginia with virtual events, fundraising appeals, and robocalls. She also recently headlined a fundraiser for North Carolina Senate candidate Roy Cooper, a former governor and Harris's longtime friend.
Do you still talk to President Biden? When is the last time?
Yeah, he and I have been playing phone tag actually in the last couple of days. I'd invite everyone to just say a prayer if that's what you do for his well-being and health right now. Yeah.
How did he seem the last time you were able to talk with him?
He was good. He was good.
How long ago was that? When you were actually able to connect?
A couple of weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
Does he seem like he's still itching to kind of get back in and be a voice in some capacity, or is he just focused on his health right now?
He's focused on a number of things: his library, his family, and of course his health.
You talked about a deep bench. If we could get into some names, who do you think has done well out there since January in using those tools you're talking about to combat this administration and the Republican Party?
I think there are a lot of people we have a very talented group of Democrats. And I think, look, having run for president, it's a big decision that an individual has to make that is going to be a function of whether they think they can do the job, but also whether they are, it's a personal decision in many ways about running for president. And that's no small matter. And that's, in my experience, a decision that you make with deep reflection and usually with a lot of consultation with your family. Not to mention, just what's your path to winning. So a lot of variables go into it. But we have a lot of very talented people.